everybody, Seth with Everyman Prepping here. How's everybody doing today? I got time for a quick video today. We're going to touch on 3 subjects that just came up today that I want to share with you. One of them being Israel and Hamas, talking about ceasefire. We're going to talk about Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, F-16s, and nuclear weapons. And the sun is firing off X-class solar flares again. You're going to see a lot of fear porn on that. I want to give you the information I have and, talk about, do we really need to be concerned about the sun right now or not? So let's go ahead and get started here. We see here that Israel-Hamas war live updates from AP News. Hamas has accepted an Egyptian Qatari ceasefire proposal. The important thing here is you're going to hear a lot about this. The people in Rafah are excited and Hamas is excited. This was not a deal agreed on by Israel. It's not what was on the table. This is a new thing that came out that Hamas probably worked with Egypt and said, hey, we like this deal. Let's agree to it. So you're going to hear that they agreed to a ceasefire. Well, they agreed to a Hamas ceasefire, not the Israel one, not the one that was mutually negotiated. It says, the Hamas group accepted an Egyptian Qatari ceasefire proposal to halt the 7-month war with Israel. But then you're going to see down here where it says here that an official familiar with Israel thinking says Israel officials are examining the ceasefire proposal. That's good. They didn't reject it outright. It says, but the official warns that the plan approved by Hamas is not the framework Israel proposed. So it's not really a ceasefire deal if no one's going to agree to the ceasefire. If you ask me, my opinion, this is a stalling technique or tactic used by Hamas right now. They're trying to stall Israel going into Rafah as long as they can, whether or not they're moving assets into or out of that area, moving the hostages, planning for ambushes, whatever they're doing. I think it's a stall tactic. I could be wrong. Maybe Hamas and Israel are going to get really close here and do this, but I know Netanyahu really wants to go into Rafah and finish the Gaza, military operation he's been doing. So I don't think that one's going to be agreed to. I think the Rafah occupation will happen. The going in there, and this is just a stall tactic, maybe for Hamas to get ready for that. So that's my opinion. Put them down below in the comments what you think. Is this going to happen or not? What are you hearing? What do you think? Also, hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, all that great YouTube-y stuff. Well, let's move on here to the second item, and that is these F-16s. It says, this is from Next. Russia will perceive the appearance of F-16 fighter jets in Ukraine as carriers of nuclear weapons, regardless of their modification, from the Russian Foreign Ministry. And I've mentioned this to you many times, that if you have a weapons platform that can fire nukes, you're basically nuclear capable nation at that point. So F-16s can fire nuclear warheads from their payload. So Russia's going to see them as nukes. We've mentioned that to you. They're coming out and saying it now. So once they appear, there's going to be a little anxiety on the Russians' part, and they're going to react to it. And that's basically what we get to from Dmitry Medvedev. And you can see up here that's him and his post on X. And I talked about this in a post I put up earlier as well in the community section. But he's basically, he's our favorite Russian, deputy chair of the Security Council, or, right-hand man of Putin. And, he loves throwing out the nuclear card and all that. But at the end here, he does say something they haven't mentioned before. But first he starts off with about sending troops into, he calls it the former Ukraine. He says, now includes members of the U.S. Congress, French and British administration, and some madmen from the Baltic states and Poland. He said they're calling for active use of, they're also calling for their active use of military weapons previously delivered to them to use in all against Russian territory. So he's pointing that out. And then he goes on further to say that sending their troops to the former Ukraine's territory will mean direct engagement of their countries in war, and we have to respond to it. And alas, not within the former Ukraine's borders. So he's saying we're going to respond if these troops arrive, these French troops, which there's word going out that French troops are already in there. So he's basically saying we're not just going to respond within Ukraine. We're going to go, respond outside Ukraine. We might go after France or U.S. or the UK or other NATO countries, whoever provides troops. We're going to go outside the Ukrainian borders. And it says here that no one will be able to hide on whether it's Capitol Hill or in the French Palace there or Downing Street or wherever. This is going to be a global catastrophe. He likes to throw that out, but that's what he's saying. Now, lastly, this is the important part that hasn't been mentioned before, and that's the last paragraph. And then he says, and this is why today the general staff, this is talking about the general staff in Russia, has started preparations for the military exercise that includes drills of preparation and use of non-strategic nuclear weapons. So talking about tactical nuclear weapons. So, are they going to do a nuke test? Are they going to set off a nuclear tactical nuke as a show of force? Maybe. They haven't mentioned this ever before about this, so I found this last paragraph very eye-opening. So maybe, Russia's going to say, hey, you're pushing us. We don't want to go to nuclear war. We're going to set off this tactical nuke, maybe either on a remote place, maybe within Ukraine, to say, hey, knock it off, or we're going to keep doing this. That's what he's saying. Whether or not it holds any water, we shall see, but that's what's currently going on in Russia. You can write down below. Also in the comments what you think about Dmitry's threats, non-threats. Is he just, BSing? What's your opinion on that down there? Lastly, let's talk about the sun. So we had an X4.5 solar flare that happened last night. You can see right here. It came from the upper right sunspot group. If we look at below up on the map, it's the sunspot group 3663 up here in the north that shot it out. There's been, I think, 4 or 5, we'll read in the article in a minute, X-class flares in the last few days. This sunspot group here is growing in complexity. It's turning Earth-facing. Might give us problems in the next few days or so. But let's go back here to the information that we're talking about. And it says that this is the 4th X-class flare since May 3rd. There was an X1.6, 1.2, another 1.2, and this 4.5. And so it's very active. And right now, most scientists, they can't determine if a CME is coming. Usually, something that size, there will be one. And the reason that is because the SOHO satellites that they use to predict the if a CME was ejected in what direction has been down for a couple days. Coincidence? Is it because of the X flares? I don't know. Maybe it just needs to be rebooted. Some of the people I've followed to get the information. Hope to get some more information from them later on. But even so, an X4.5 is not going to crash the grid. The pole shift going on, it's a little weaker. The magnetic field protection of the Earth is a little weaker. You can see here from the KP index. We had a little level 1 storm. What do they call it? Geoweather storm. Just a few hours ago, 3 hours ago. I think it happened about, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, about 18 hours ago. Then it's been relatively even since then. So nothing on the KP index with the, storms coming up. But more could come from this sunspot group and more from this one. But the X.5, 4.5 flare that just happened, like I said, it's not big enough to take down the grid. You're probably going to need something near in the range of X20 or so, 25, with the strength of a magnetic field. Could there be some satellites go down? Yeah. Could there be some communication issues? Yes. You're going to hear a lot of fear-mongering. You're going to hear 4 X-class flares. They're going to pound the Earth. Watch out. Don't get caught up in all that. Just, keep reading, keep information on, keep checking out my channel, my X post to see. I'm going to give it to you, but I'm not concerned about the 4.5 flare coming this way. It might not even be aimed at Earth. Hopefully the SOHO satellites come back on so the researchers and observers out there can give us an idea of if it's really aimed directly at Earth or if it's just going to be a glancing blow. But this isn't the kill shot. I know you're going to see that ramp up, so I just wanted to calm everybody's nerves about that. If we get toward the kill shot stage, I'll let you know for sure as fast as I can, because I'll do that quick. Then, I'm taking care of business after that as well as you should as well. So that's all I have for you today. Like I said, quick video. If you have any questions, put them down below or comments. Hopefully you're out there enjoying the beginning of the week, and it's a nice week for you guys this week. You get some prepping done. I'm getting the last of my plantings in the soil probably today or tomorrow, and that'll wrap up the initial planting. Then it's just taking care of them and babying along till they start making all that great fruit and vegetables for me. So until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.